Hello there guys, it's been like 3 or 4 weeks since I last uploaded a video because I've been spending those 3 to 4 weeks on university work and also this video, which is the Expressions Challenge. This video has been a long time coming because last year in May I really wanted to do the Expressions Challenge inspired by my friends Canary Witch and Jenna Drawing, but I thought I would wait a bit. And waiting just turned into almost a year, so let's do it now. The expression meme I used will be linked down below if you also want to use it. How this whole thing started was I posted that to Instagram and I asked people whether they could send me one of my OCs as well as one of the expressions on this grid. There was so many different suggestions and they were all amazing, but I picked my personal favourites for this video and here they are. So I actually thought that putting my sketching process in this video would be a pretty cool idea. Quite a few people have been wanting to see how I sketch. I usually live stream and people usually see me live sketching on my live streams, but for the sake of people who can't make it to my live streams, here you go. Originally, I was actually going to do 9 expressions for this video, but it was just taking so long and I just did not have the patience to do another page worth of expressions, so I did 6. I thought that was a fair amount of work to do for this video. So for the expression meme, I actually decided on my characters Alexandra Marie, more commonly known as Sapphire. She's a character that I haven't really introduced on this channel and I am waiting for an opportunity to introduce her to the channel. We have Nicholas, Loki, Ruby, Melissa and Rocco. So on the first page we have Alex with I6, Nicholas with D6 and Loki with B6. It was completely incidental, but all of these expressions on this particular page have heart eyes, but they're all using it in a completely different way, which I think is really cool and it shows variety. Because all of the expressions on this particular page have heart eyes, they're viewed as more positive emotions or just emotions that have a positive spin to it, whereas the other page is completely the opposite. I did Ruby for C1, Melissa for B1 and Rocco for I1. And I'm aware all of these expressions for each page come on their own row in the grid. It just seemed a lot more satisfying that way. This challenge is very fun to do. I would recommend, if you do this challenge, that you have another person or other people just pick the expression that you draw, because otherwise you fall back into your own comfort zone and it becomes less of a challenge that way. In their videos, Jenna and Canary Witch actually did express some tips. Now I think I'm going to do that too, because I think that will be helpful for people. This first tip is a bit of common sense, but at the same time, I don't really hear this tip often enough when it comes to expressions, and I really feel that body language can help convey an expression and make it more convincing. The whole reason why I didn't just do headshots above the shoulders is because I actually wanted to convey in the pose what the face is saying. Having the body and the face actually say the same thing just emphasizes the feeling of that character. For example, with Melissa, she is crying her eyes out. She is so upset. It's like somebody told her that unicorns weren't real. You can tell her heart is just breaking. But what if I had just done a headshot above the shoulders? You wouldn't be able to see how expressive it is. You can tell she's clutching her heart, that she is heartbroken. Also, the pose can also convey the personality of the character you're drawing. Sometimes the facial expression will not match the personality of your character, and the pose can actually help emphasize that this is a really weird emotion for them. An example of this is actually of Ruby. Now, Ruby doesn't usually get mad, and I actually wanted to draw her being mad. So what I did with her pose is I made it more casual, like she's actually having a stern talking to somebody, but she's got a very casual, laid back kind of attitude, because that's how she is as an everyday character. It's only her face jutting forward to actually give you that impression that she's mad, as well as her arms being crossed as well. Other examples also include Rocco. He's walking away from just being beaten up, so he would be down, he's looking down. I also wanted to give the impression of what he's looking at in the pose as well. This can just add so much to an image. When it comes to poses, I do talk a lot about the pose not being stiff, but sometimes stiff poses can actually work to your advantage, especially if it's the right emotion for it. Nicholas has that stiffness to him, but he's nervous. Of course, when you're nervous, you stiffen up, you tense. So it's very appropriate for a stiffer pose in that expression. Character expressions can carry along a story. Why do they have that expression? Ask yourself that question, and it will give you a scenario for that character to be in that expression. Another tip that I've got from other artists like Holly Brown and also Canary Witch, as well as being found all over the internet as well, is getting yourself a mirror. Just a little mirror that can sit on your desk, and you can actually look at your face making that expression. I know you'll look a bit goofy if anybody else is around, but trust me, it really helps. Sometimes even drawing with that expression on your face, it's like you can visualize it, and it just makes it so much easier to draw that way. And then finally, when colouring it, I kind of also considered how the colours would play a role in making the expressions more believable, because it's all well and good drawing them, but colours can be really important. An example of how colour comes into play when thinking of expressions is how the face is going to look. For example, Nicholas is very love-struck. He's blushing, so of course there's going to be blush across his cheeks. This also applies for Loki, but this can also apply for Melissa as well. Even though it's a completely different emotion, her cheeks would be red because she's sobbing. Another way it's applied is also with Alex, or Sapphire if you want to call her that more so. The drop shadow just underneath her fringe, or bangs if you say it like that, actually adds a very creepy vibe to her face. With Rocco, it's shown how it is by his skin being more desaturated, because he's been bruised, he's been beaten up, he's feeling down, he's feeling alone, so you want to have that colder, more desaturated vibe. In terms of materials, for the skin tone, I actually use my Copic markers because I'm better at blending Copic marker skin tones than I am just trying to do skin tone with watercolour. It's also quicker to do as well, and that way it's not mixing in. I constantly have the issue of my watercolour skin tone just blending in with the rest of the drawing. It's definitely something I need to improve on and just work on in general. Another reason why I decided to use markers just for the skin tone is because I can't control how pigmented those schminky watercolours are. I decided I needed more practice with my schminky watercolours because they're so pigmented. I really wanted to improve on how I could control the amount of colour that comes out, but I wasn't confident with the skin, so that's where I drew the line, no pun intended. So just to finish off Nicholas, I actually went in with my Kuretake Gansai Tambi Starry Colours watercolour set, and I added the gold detail. I think it looks really, really cool. I really like those gold watercolors. They are so pretty, and it just added something to it. It's just awesome. If you made it to the end of the video, you can comment this on screen now. I hope you guys enjoyed the video and found it somewhat helpful. If you did, you can click like and subscribe to the channel. It all helps me. And I will see you guys in my next video. Bye guys!